And huzzah! I have done it! I have beaten the game! And all it took was for me to realize that there was a big problem. And I actually figured out what the problem was. And it was, I was too low level to get experience that I was supposed to be getting. Which is some serious bullcrap. How you gonna give... If I go to an area, how you gonna give me less experience if I'm fighting enemies higher level than me? That doesn't make any sense to me. You would think you would get more experience, or at least, at the very least, the same amount of experience. But because I fell behind, I couldn't catch up. And, that was rough. I'm guessing the intent of what I needed to do was go to some other areas in the past and find where I could get the proper experience and then grind with 20 experience. But that's completely obnoxious and all other stuff. So it's honestly a really good thing that I decided to look at like a walkthrough or something like that to see what levels that I need to work with. And you know what? In the end, I'm glad that I went to go grab those Hirons, because honestly, those Hirons, they actually do just carry you through the game. And they're the reason that I was able to beat this game, which is kind of sad. But, you know, here we are. I guess if I fought literally every battle that I came across, maybe I wouldn't have encountered this issue, but who knows? My overall thoughts on this game are, I had a moderate amount of enjoyment, I guess, when I was going through it, up until the water area, where, you know, I felt like everything was just doing too much damage to me, and I wasn't doing enough damage to them. Things definitely went downhill from there. Certainly had more fun after I got the Hirons, you know, because I could actually play the game. But I would say my overall thoughts on this game is, at least from my experience personally, I think there's a fundamental flaw with having the experience system the way it is, and it makes it very difficult to even figure out what's going on, because when you're fighting enemies that are dealing 60 damage to you, and when you beat them you get 1 experience or 5 experience, that doesn't like make any sense. You know, it's like, okay, somehow these enemies that are doing tons of damage to me are now not even rewarding me for beating them. So it's very difficult to figure out what you're supposed to do there, because the logical conclusion is I'm higher level than these enemies, but somehow they're doing more damage to me. So yeah, I think excluding that fundamental flaw, I think the game is okay. You know, I'm not 100% sure how one goes about beating this game without Hirons or without grinding. It feels like, based off of the expectations that I have, that I believe are required for this, I think the grinding is very extensive. It took me 3 hours to get all the Hirons that I wanted, and I probably should have had at least 1 more Hiron. I would have been more comfortable with 2 more Hirons. But yeah. The music in this game is actually You know, for a Game Boy Color game, the music in this game is actually a lot better than I thought it would be. You know, I have many ideas for the music of this game, and you know, I hope they can come to fruition, because that's that brings me a little bit of excitement. I think the story wasn't all that interesting, but it's a Game Boy Color game. You know, for these old school games, I definitely cut a little bit of slack. You know, there's like so much you can do with what your story is. And, you know, honestly, the characters were all just a little bit silly. The dialogue was a little bit silly. And so, you know, you lean into that or you don't. For the, like, mechanics thing, I actually like how they handle the dream creatures in this. I like that when you when you beat a monster, you have a chance to get like a crystal from it, and you need crystals and you need money in order to create that monster. It's not very difficult to get the monsters that you want. You just have to find them. It's going to take some grinding to do, but it's not incredibly difficult, and it doesn't cost an upfront investment to do it, like say Pokemon, for example, where you gotta buy Pokeballs. In this one, you know, you just have to fight the monster, kill that monster last, and you have a chance to get 1 or 2 or 0 crystals. And most monsters need anywhere between 1 and 5 crystals, and sometimes they need, you know, other monsters and things like that. So there's that. Kenan Thompson. Kenan Thompson, the guy from Kenan and Kel? Could just be a coincidence in there, but let me see, what else? I think, even though this is a Game Boy Color game, I think the fights are a little slow, and I don't think there's any like options or anything like that to speed up the fights. It would have been nice to turn off animations. That would have helped out quite a bit. Yeah. I think that's all that I got. Trying to think what else is on my thingamabobber here. Oh, dungeons. You know, interestingly enough, I think all of the dungeons are somewhat short in the sense of like they don't overstay their welcome, but there are scenarios where it feels like you're in the dungeon for a very long time just because of all the backtracking and stuff like that. The dungeon with all of the switches for like the different phases of the moon or the sun or whatever, that dungeon in particular stands out to me because there's just so much back and forth that you have to go through. It's pretty obnoxious. Old man moment, you remember Kenan and Kel? I remember Kenan and Kel. Just a side note, Mr. JRPG. I've seen some information out there that a new Good Burger movie is in production or in talks or something like that, which is crazy. Let's see. For graphics, you know, I actually think this game looks a lot better than I thought a Game Boy Color game would look. I think this game looks better than Dragon Warrior Monsters, for example. The sprite work and you know, like the color range and things like that are much better than I was expecting. For replay value, supposedly there is a New Game Plus in this, but I don't think this game really has anything worth playing again, other than, you know, maybe getting some other stuff, but there's no extra story content, as far as I know of, that will justify replaying the game for me. And I think that's all that I'm gonna go for this one. There's probably some cardinal sins that I'm not thinking of, but yeah, I guess just to reiterate my overall thoughts, I think the game is fine up until I got to the water area, and then I basically had to make a decision of, do I want to continue playing this game? And in some ways, I'm kind of glad that this was a second plus playthrough, not because I remembered anything that was actually relevant. I don't think I remembered anything actually about this game other than, you know, it was a card game, but that turned out to be kind of false. But it gave me the motivation to be like, you know what, I've beaten this game before, even though I don't remember it. I'm going to feel less bad about looking up what I can do to finish this game, because I didn't want to make a YouTube video about how I set this game down, because I didn't want to grind for 10 hours or something like that. And that might be, you know, whatever. So, thank goodness for the Hirons. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for me for today. I will be back probably tomorrow. If not tomorrow, and if not Friday, who knows. At the very least, Monday, 7 a.m. Pacific, to continue playing something. You know, if not, then, you know, something else. Something stuff with the stuff and stuff. See ya the next time I see ya. Peace.